So, can you maybe briefly introduce yourself?
Hey, my name is Hammad and I'm from Kuwait. And yeah, I'm 38 years old. Imagine that.
Well, that's a good age to make money, right?
Yeah,
So, can you
that's what you
tell me?
need.
Ah, of course. So, can you tell me more about your backstory, like how you started trading?
Yeah, of course. So when I first started trading, I think it was like around 12 years ago, maybe a little bit less or more, around that age. And basically, I was going through, you know, YouTube and videos and Google and all that, and I was introduced to Forex and the Forex market and the currency trading and all that. And basically, as soon as I saw a couple of videos, I was like, okay, yeah, this is it. This is what I'm meant to be doing.
Right.
And basically, I immediately went and I opened up a broker account. And at that time, like I don't see these now, these days, but at that time, if you open an account with 500, 1,000, whatever, they give you the same amount as a bonus.
Hmm.
And I don't see these anymore, but I don't know, maybe that changed or something.
Yeah.
But as soon as I remember, I put in 1,000 and they gave me 1,000 into my account, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is good.
Yeah, you
And I,
doubled the money already.
yeah, I know the money already. That's it. This is the rich people's world, and
Right.
um, I took a trade on NASDAQ on the 1 minute chart. Imagine that.
Hmm.
And I only looked at the 1 minute, right? And I was like going up and down, and I took a trade and went down a little bit, and I made $200. And I was like, oh, you know, that's it.
Yeah,
And
that's the first
I,
money you taste in life.
yeah, and immediately I opened the calculator. I was like, okay, so if I make $200 a day, if I trade every day, because like at that time the market never slept, right? And I was like, okay, if I
Hmm.
take it $200 every day and I make this much in a month, in a year, I'm gonna be a multimillionaire, and that was that was my first train of thought
Right.
until I took a trade on the Aussie dollar. I took a long, I fell asleep. I woke up and I was $800 in drawdown because I didn't put a stop loss.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then basically it kept going down because I had hope that it would turn around.
Hmm.
But it never does. And I got margin called, and that was my first account that I busted in less than 3 days.
Yeah, I can relate, obviously. For me, it was, I think I put like 500 into one of my brokerages in like my own country. And I think it was B-book brokerage, where, there's A-book and B-book always has these shenanigans happening.
Yeah,
And it was like closer to more offshore type of brokerage. And what happened was, I didn't even knew a thing about the news or something. And I think I took a long on gold and I just busted the account in one trade. And it felt like hell because I worked for the money quite hard. And I was like,
yeah,
man, why did I
yeah,
do this? Why didn't I take the opposite direction? And then, the next 2 months were losses, 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 basically. And then I started to start seeing some sort of wins. But again, it never
yeah.
came for a long
It
time.
never came. Yeah, it doesn't come easily, and you need to, I mean, it asked me, like, I've been 12 years through this process of going through all different types of courses, communities, support and demand,
Yeah.
all these, like, putting a million lines on the chart, and like horizontal lines, and then like these trend lines, and then you end up with a chart like that has so many lines that you can't even see the candles anymore.
Hmm.
Um, and maybe 1 out of 10 trade works. And then you bust the account again and again and again. You keep putting in money. I mean, it was a journey of a lot of pain. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, so maybe something more closer to before we like you joined us. What was your backstory? Because I know like you personally, I think you started with supply and demand, or was it something more to this?
Yeah, so at first it was like support and resistance and all that, and then I moved into supply and demand, SMC, right? And SMC was fine. It was good. Well, people advertise it as the holy grail of, trading.
Hmm.
So naturally, that's where I went because everybody wants that holy grail of understanding the markets, right?
Right.
So I went into that. I went into SMC and I started trading SMC. It was good until it wasn't good anymore. I kept getting stopped out, and I couldn't understand why. And every time I asked somebody why, they say, that's just the market. You got to accept it. And I know that's true, but that only holds true if, for example, like it goes opposite my direction. But the
Mhm.
issue was it wasn't going opposite my direction. It was just stopping me out. And I kept getting into losses and losses and losses again. And then looking at the trade go my way, basically. And that's when I was like, okay, there's something missing. SMC isn't working for me. And my cousin told me, like, oh, look at this account. And I started looking into your account. I started seeing what you guys were doing and all of that. And at first I joined your SMC course, just to see if there was anything different, like
Hmm.
maybe there was something different. But, SMC is SMC, right? Like what's so different about SMC?
Right.
Uh, yeah,
Order
and it's
blocks and so on. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And then I joined your eLITe, and I think I was the second intake. You guys had one intake before me.
Was it December or October?
I think it was I think it was October.
So it was
Um,
first intake.
okay, yeah. Yeah, and basically I started looking at the videos, but like naturally because everyone gives you everything. Like as soon as you buy the course, you go through 7,000 hours of videos. Like this is how people advertise it, right? Like you
Hmm.
get 7,000 hours of videos, back testing sessions and all of that. But you guys were different. You only gave us a couple of videos a week, right? And
Right. And the reason obviously was because for you guys to learn, you have to learn as a community, right? So when you learn week by week and you interact with other members, you talked about something, we can explain it more in depth, obviously, for you guys. And you all learn at a similar pace because some people might be in their jobs, some people might be like sick or something, and they will not have time, let's say 1 day or 2 days out of week to watch it. So we don't just shove everything. We try to
yeah.
do it step by step so people take it slow, but also understand it more.
Yeah, and when you guys sent the videos, by the end of the week we had the weekly calls where we basically discussed and asked you guys questions on basically everything we were going through on the videos. And I think that was also something that I didn't realize I needed, but I needed because it helped me a lot to understand like every single concept that we were going through instead of just shoving 7,000 hours of videos down my throat, right?
All right.
Uh, yeah, and that was I think and we were only a couple of people. I can't remember. I think we were seven or something. Um,
Mhm.
and because you guys only take maximum of, I don't know, you guys take 10, right? Maximum?
Yeah, approximately.
Yeah, per intake. So that was good. That was something very different, which I hadn't seen before. Yeah.
So now the question was, should be like, what was the breaking point to you? Like when we started, I know like one of the main key things was our one-to-one sessions, obviously, because
Yeah.
I saw you prior to that, like you were even telling me that it was hard on psychology, like even though the technicals were working nicely, You still had your prior losses, your prior psychological downfalls due to trading SMC and taking loss over loss over loss. And you still had confidence issues. And I even remember you telling me, like, uh, I was close to quitting. That's my last stop. Let's make it happen, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember when after I finished the whole course, I decided to take a couple of one-on-ones with you, and I saw it on Discord that you guys, you're available for the one-on-ones, and I was like, okay, so I'll take a couple of calls with Peach, and that's it. I mean, I've been through so much pain of losses and feeling like, like I was stupid, like, something is wrong with me that I cannot understand what's going on, right?
Mhm.
And I was like, this is it. I'll take a couple of calls. This is my last course that I will ever take. This is the last person that I will ever talk to. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, that's it. I'm not meant for trading. I'll just go back to my job, a 9 to 5, be a normal human being, right?
Right.
And that's when things started to change because the technicals are fine. I mean, the videos give you everything, the weekly calls gave us everything we needed, but also that interaction with you, back testing, and it was more of you weren't like, and I think that's also something very important, which also helped me. You weren't like, yeah, this is 1 hour, you paid for 1 hour, like here, 1, 2, 3, do this, and that's it. It was more of care, and
Right.
we became friends, even
Right.
like,
Like
yeah,
I do care about people, especially like you, like with you, I probably care the most because you were the first guy who actually we started to do lessons together, like one on one, and I really wanted you to succeed. Like I remember you telling you don't have other choice except success because now you're my student, right?
yeah, yeah, exactly,
So
yeah,
that
and that was a changing point for me as well, mentally, especially like because of all the, like I said, because of all the pain that I've been through over the years. And I think maybe I'm not the only one. A lot of people
was
also go through pain, but they can't find that person or that place or that community where they don't just shove things down your throat. They actually care about you. You know what I mean?
oh, of course, man. I I've been the same before before actually starting this course even because I decided just to do things my own way. I found a way. We kind of made it together with Rob, and we thought, okay, this will be game changer for many people because we were so let down about other courses. It was so bad, honestly. And
Yeah.
because of that, we just decided to launch. But again, now looking at more recent stuff from you, like, 'cause we started together in like doing these sessions, I think even in December, maybe January, and it's already 6 months past, I think, from that. So again, how was those 6 months going? Like, can you tell me about that?
Yeah, you and I started in January, and the reason I remember that is because, first of all, I'm very bad with dates. Like I'm terrible, right? And I don't remember dates really well, but I do remember I started with you in January, and the reason why I say that is because so the first, I think, 2 months of the course, I was just trying to
Absorb information.
absorb everything and
Yeah.
going through the videos, back testing, and all of that. And in January, I said, I said to myself, I'm going to give myself 3 months, 3 to 5 months or 6 months maximum. If I don't make it, that's it. I'm gone.
Hmm.
And took us, I don't know, like it took us less than that. It took us a month
Right.
where I started seeing actual results. The way I look at the market, completely shifted because it is different. It's not SMC. The course you guys give isn't SMC, isn't anything, right? I haven't seen
Yeah.
that any, and it shifted the way I think. It shifted the way I look at the market. It shifted. everything about my perception into the market, and I started seeing results. And I started, you know, actually enjoying those results because it started building that confidence that I'm not, stupid. I'm not meant to do this because I love trading. This is what I've been passionate about ever since I was a child. Um,
Mhm.
it's something when you look at the market, when you look at the charts, there's this love. It isn't work.
Yeah.
It's love, when you look at the candles, what's going on, even on weekends, when you wake up in the morning, all of that.
Like for me, the weekends are just the boring part because I'm always waiting for the Monday, whereas when I used to work in the job, it's man, it's Monday, and
Exactly.
now man, it's Friday, it's already done. So it's
Yeah.
just a reverse thing where you just wanna trade. You love it so much. So yeah, man, I totally get you. And I remember you started the first like funding challenge in I think 3 months in our one-to-one, or maybe 2 months in. When was it? Do you remember?
Yeah. 2 months in.
Yeah, so you started that. And I remember you were struggling, right, with it, a bit struggling with psychology. But again, if I remember correctly, you passed it, right? It was TFF.
Yeah. It was TFF. The technicals were fine. It was
Mhm.
just my mentality, because of all these accumulated years of being hurt and being stung. So I carried that with me into basically going into you guys into the course, and I still have some of it with me. I'm not saying it's gone, but I'm
Right,
working through it with you, with what we've been talking about, what we've been learning, um, and I passed it, and at first I thought it was a fluke. I was like, that's impossible, right?
all right. Yeah, it's the same for everybody, right? Because the first challenge, once you pass it, you think it's over, but it's just the start, right? Where you
Yeah.
have to actually start making the money. So the question would be, how many challenges you pass now, like for
So
yourself?
so because I thought it was a fluke, I couldn't believe it. I was like, no, no, this isn't real. And I wanted like diversity because um previously when I used to trade, I didn't use prop firms. I didn't know prop firms, right? And I used to always put in my own money.
Mhm.
And because I've lost so much, I decided to go into like, getting capital from prop firms. And then when I passed that challenge, I wanted to, gather diversity and basically have a couple of more companies. And I started passing challenges like easily, and I passed six for me.
Mhm.
Um,
And
and
what's like overall?
overall it's 11
Oh, oh
for a
God.
couple of friends. Yeah. And, you know, it's, it's amazing. I mean, it's not a fluke. I can tell you that.
Oh, for
Because
sure
a
not.
fluke 11 times is not a fluke. Yeah.
Right. There's no luck in consistent passing, right? So you have a system. Now again, this last week, talking about those 11 passes, you passed one for me, and
Yeah.
that's an interesting thing because I never did this with any of the students, and since I saw your constant results, I wanted to elevate you to the next level. So what happened was I decided to buy a challenge just so I can observe you trading and get myself more involved. So tell me how it went, because I know it improved you as well with that one.
Yeah, it definitely proved me, and it was scary as hell. I'll tell you that. When he told me you're gonna buy a challenge and give it to me to pass, I was like, oh my God. Yeah, like,
Yeah,
and it's not scary because I knew I could do it. It was scary because I respect you, and you're basically you're my mentor. We've become friends.
right.
We're working together all the time. I talk to you a lot during the day. And it was scary. So I knew like I said, I knew I could do it, but I didn't know why, you asked me to do it. I know you don't need it because you have the skills already because
Right.
yeah. and I started trading with you, and I started, taking the trades, and we're talking about the trades and why. And a lot of things started popping up, like a couple of trades. I panic and I tell you, hey, should I close the trade? And you're like, no, no, keep it, the strategy is here. This is where the zones are. You know it. Keep it open. This is what I would do. This is what I would do. And basically that, helped me immensely because we took a couple of trades that lasted for a couple of days, which I would have never done before.
Yeah,
Um,
one of the trades were actually a 1 week swing that we took, and there was like one, I think, 5 day also. So we kind of swing traded there, which I don't think you would have done that in the past, right?
I would have never done that. You're serious? Like, the first trade I told you about, the second trade about the Aussie dollar when I woke up and it was an $800 loss.
Hmm.
That stuck with me for like all these years. So
Yeah,
I'm like terrified of keeping trades.
but what like brings you that back, what like takes that trauma away is again showing that you can actually do those things. That was the thing that I kind of wanted to experiment with you, and it was a
Yeah.
successful experiment. So yeah, we in how many days did we pass it? Like,
Yeah. So the first phase we took, I think it took us like 5 days. The second phase we passed the same day.
yeah, in one day.
Yeah,
So
in one day.
so it was really nice, honestly. Like, and I think now you're like your confidence should be quite high, right, for the future.
Yeah. I mean, so that's a funny thing. Like, I'm not confident. I'm just, I think I'm more humbled
Trusting.
and
Yeah.
trusting, and I start to, and I need, I'm starting to realize that the pain that I got from the market wasn't the market causing me pain intentionally. It was my decisions and the technicals or the way I was doing things, right?
Hmm.
Nothing's wrong with the market. Nothing's wrong with me. It was just we were out of sync, right?
Right.
And with this course and with working with you closely and all that, and working through the psychological issues, I think I feel more in sync with the
Right.
market. Like dancing with a partner, you have to know the steps, you have to
Right.
know the technicals, and that's how you become, in sync. And I think this is where I'm starting to feel more in sync with the market. I do know I have a lot more to work on, and I'm ready to put in the work because it is a lot of work, if I'm honest. I've probably put in a lot more work for this than anything else in my life.
Right. But the reward is what? Freedom. That's what
Freedom.
everybody wants. Freedom to
Exactly.
travel, freedom to have whenever you want vacation, freedom to make a lot of money as well. That's the pro. So it's literally one thing you need out of like your career in life is freedom, I think. And
Yeah.
that's the main thing that trading gives us. And yeah, I think you are almost there, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the plan. Like I said, I've loved the markets ever since I was a child. And this is something I've always wanted to be doing. Even though, I work an amazing job, I work with amazing people. I have great colleagues, bosses, leaders that help me.
Hmm.
But and I think only like traders like you and I, or others, will understand there's something different about trading, right?
Right.
You can't just put it out of your system. It's there. It doesn't go away, no matter what you do.
No, for sure. That's just something you have to live with in your whole life. Like once you start it, it's either you do it or just totally try to quit it, which is really hard. It's addicting as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, you kind of start falling in love with trading, and the sad part is obviously the weekends, because like the weekends the market ends, and then you want to wait for that Monday for it to start, and you feel the thrill again. You feel
Yeah, exactly. It's
the
like, oh my
money.
God, what am I gonna do? Like, you just look at you look at the chart and you back test in the weekend.
Right. So yeah, trading is obviously fun. Well, it was a very nice interview, man.
Yeah, thank you, man.
It's really nice, and obviously you're not going anywhere. We'll probably hear from you soon in the future. And yeah,
Yeah, I'm
man.
sticking around. You gotta get used to me.
That's good. All right, man. Have a nice day, and we'll see you in the future, right?
You too. Thank you, brother.